If your son struggle to take responsibility or blame others or avoid accountability altogether or shut down when you correct him for their action, it's definitely not laziness and it's not rebellion. It's simply a lack of what I call emotional control. Let me explain further so you really understand and get it. Most parents, even mentors like myself, we teach accountability before our sons ever know or understand how to regulate their emotions, right? So what happens, you might ask, and let's unpack this even deeper. The moment the pressure hits, guys, the moment the pressure hits, the first thing they do, what do? They begin to deflect. They begin to avoid the circumstances and they shut down and want to run to the room or turn the video game on. Not because they don't care, not because they don't want to be better, it's because he can't handle what he's feeling in that moment or know what to do with that energy. Here's the truth, guys. We may not understand. Accountability, it requires emotional stability. So if a young man feels overwhelmed in that moment, his brain is definitely not thinking about ownership and being better and making a conscious decision, right? It's thinking about protection mode. How do I get out of this? This is another thing that I'm going to be blamed for that I didn't do. So I'm not going to take responsibility. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to protect myself. And protect myself with what? Insulating with excuses, blame, or just silence and shutting down. We've all seen it. This is why emotional control always and must come first. Because if he can't regulate his emotion, guys, he will never take accountability. And that's the disconnect I have been seeing in so many classrooms. So let me give you three shifts that will change this forever. First, let's begin to separate the behavior from the identity of that young man. Don't say you're being irresponsible, and I've talked to you about this several times. Let's try saying things like, that decision wasn't responsible, but I know you're capable of doing much better. Because when you attack his identity, he defends himself and he feels like he can't do anything right and nothing seems to connect. But when you address the behavior, oh, that's different now. Now he can grow. Now he understands and now he wants to rebuild himself. Second, let's create the space for correction. Let's create the space for that correction, right? Think about it. Don't correct them in the heat of the emotion, right? Don't, just give him a moment and give him time to reset his energy and his thinking. Because sometimes, guys, correction without regulation feels like attack mode. They always feel like they're being blamed for something. And then thirdly, let's teach them ownership as a skill, right? To take authority, to feel purposeful, to feel like I'm getting better even though I'm making mistakes. What could I have done different? Ask questions like that, right? What is your next move and how can you grow from this? Don't just go through it, but grow through it. Because accountability isn't natural, guys, it's trained, right? Let me give you a beautiful picture that can be a part of all of our futures, guys. Trying to teach accountability without emotional control, it's like asking that young man or asking someone to think clearly while they're drowning in the pool. Kind of hard to do, right? Almost seems impossible, right? They're not focused on the smart responsibility part, right? They're trying to survive first, guys, right? And then they're figuring it out as they go along. So if you want your sons, right? We want our mentors and our athletes to take ownerships. We have to start teaching them emotional regulation and emotional control. Then the accountability on top of that is easier, it's more effective, and now we see the change. Because here's the truth, guys, that we might not think about or even consider. A young man who can't manage his emotions will always avoid responsibility. Even as adults, guys, you know we fall victim, we do it sometimes too. But a young man who can regulate himself, can lead himself properly, make better decisions, and become the person that we're proud of. If this has helped you guys, I'd love to continue to serve you and add more value. So follow and subscribe. I can't wait to share even more tools, tips, and strategies. Because in the next video, guys, in the next one, we're going a little bit deeper. I'll be breaking down why that is discipline is not motivation, why discipline is not motivation, but it's what builds consistency in young men. right? We got to be disciplined to get the right results. And most parents sometimes get that completely wrong, right? We put the cart before the horse, like the old people would say. But God, I was encourage you to help our young men fully understand and fully walk in the development of managing in their emotions and helping them to take a time to take some steps forward, right? By breathing, by learning, and by us as adults talking them through these things, right? Don't allow them to feel like they're learning how to swim while not being taught, guys, or not getting proper instruction, right? So what does Mike look like? He may have done something that we're not pleased with, right? And so what do, right? Before we start correction, before we start yelling and fussing and using curse words sometimes that we don't mean to use, how about we sit that young man down, right? We sit him down. We ask him, what was your thought process through this? Why did you make that decision? Of course, he's going to say, I don't know. Okay, here we go. This is even deeper, right? Ask him, why don't you know? And why you keep making decisions. And then when I ask you why you did what you did, you keep saying, I don't know, right? So you helping them work through their thought process. You helping them to do what's called thinking critically, right? And sometimes our young men just haven't been groomed and taught the importance of actually making critical sound decisions, because everything in their life from this point forward, guys, has been all instinct, has been all impulse, has been all what they've seen modeled in schools, in our homes, as well as our communities, right? Nobody's teaching them the importance of making critical sound decisions, right? Starting with managing your emotions, right? Sometimes that requires taking a deep breath. Sometimes that requires them going, hey, what's your why? What's some of the things that you would like to accomplish today? What purpose that you want to walk in today? How can you be a better man today? Right? So they leave home with a purpose. They leave home with a blueprint. They leave home with a mandate like, hey, I want to accomplish something greater than I've already done. And this is not just a regular Wednesday, right? This is not just another Wednesday, but this is a Wednesday I've never seen before. And I'm going to challenge myself to be better, right? 1% better, to show up 1% better. And that's one thing I always try to encourage my young men, my athletes, my mentees, is that, hey, how can we get 1% better today? How can we make a deeper quality decision that makes us proud of the man that we're becoming and makes us even more proud of the man that's looking back at us in the mirror, right? There's some things I like to model in my mentees, and it has an incredible effect thus far. And so as parents, as educators, as coaches, as leaders and teachers, I would encourage you guys, let's start empowering our young men to show them how to manage and to regulate those emotions by taking authority and accountability for their actions, by showing them how to manage their emotions firstly. Right? One of the things I use, right, and I don't know where I got this from, but it works. I call it building a sandwich. Let's say I have a mentee and they know to be a part of Kingmaker, to be able to go to the NBA games, to be able to participate and go to the NFL games and other activity that we're doing around the city. You got to keep your grades at a certain level, right? And let's just say this young man, grades has been falling. He know the standard is B or better, so we're not accepting anything less, because we have all the tools and tutorings and everything that they need to be successful. So it's a B and higher, right? That's the standard. And let's just say that young man is not meeting the benchmark. One of the things I like to do, guys, is just, I call it building a sandwich, right? So basically, before I begin to coach and correct, I start off here. Here's the sandwich, the bread. Hey, man, I see those grades coming down. What's going on and what you're going to do different? Oh, Mr. Washington, yeah, I know I'm working on it, da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, sounds good. But what are you going to do different? And how can I help you get to where we know we need to be? Y'all see what I'm doing now? So before I ever come full force with the coaching, with the military mindedness, and sometimes I can be that way with my young men because I love them and I know what they're capable of and I know the potential that they possess, right? But before any of that, guys, I build my sandwich first, all right? I give them an opportunity to speak and let me know what's going on, but I will not accept excuses and laziness, because that's how I used to be. I was a lazy, undisciplined young man as a student, right? And it hindered me, but I will not allow my young men to do the same thing. So guys, build that sandwich, keep working and keep strengthening them, and I guarantee you guys, they will make us proud.